7. All right. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is Jay Stokes of the AVIOT podcast. This is AVIOT Sunday Brew. We weren't able to do it this morning due to, it seems like a broken record. I seem like a broken record. Complications. So I remember I had texted Jay Random, who is my co-host on this show this morning, and he always says to call him in the morning, but I was tired, so I texted him. I don't think he saw my text message. I said, yo, we doing the show, but it is what it is. So I'll be doing this by myself this evening. And I'm pretty limited in my topics that I want to talk about, so I'm definitely going to be relying on the audience to help me out here. If not, then I'll be rambling on. I want to start this AVIOT Sunday Brew by talking about women's basketball. So the WNBA draft is coming up tomorrow, and I hope that everyone's going to tune in to watch because there are some good players that are going to be entering the draft, and I hope that they get picked for their right teams and that we can really see them thrive in the WNBA. Some people that I'm looking forward to seeing get drafted are Sanaya Fagan, Sanaya Rivers, Isaiah James, Tahina Pau, Haley Van Lith. I'm interested to see what happens with her because I know she's pretty short. I think she's only about 5'8", so I'm interested to see what team actually picks her up. I'm interested to see who goes in the second round of the draft. There are some other names too. We all know that Paige Beckers is going to be going number 1 overall in the draft to the Dallas Wings. Unless something crazy happens, Paige Beckers is going to be a Dallas Wing. And I'm interested to see her play alongside Arike Ogunbowale, Dejanay Carrington. I think that team, Tara McCowan, I think that team has the potential to be really good in a few years, or a couple of years, I should say, if they add some really good pieces around everybody. So that is definitely the team I'm interested to see develop this season. But Barker from Alabama, she's going to be entering the draft. I know she showed out. If any of you watch women's D1 college basketball, she really showed out in the game against Maryland in the NCAA Women's College Basketball Tournament for Division I. And I really think that helped her draft stock. That really helped her skyrocket, and that helped her do well overall in the eyes of many. Oh, okay. I see people are joining already. Hi, Yadav Cash Boy 18. Okay. And then Ileana, hey. Oh, you said, hey, I'm Brianna. How you doing? How you doing? Where are you from, dear friends? I'm from the United States. So I don't know, for people commenting, where are you from? Just make sure to put in the chat. Just let me know where you're from. Right now I'm talking about the WNBA draft that's happening tomorrow. And I'm talking about some names, some players that I definitely want to see go some places. There's an interesting story that just broke. I just got done doing a podcast episode with my sister. So if you check out AVIOT on streaming services, make sure you check out the AVIOT podcast on streaming services. We actually have a show that's dedicated specifically to sports called Sports Talk with AVIOT. That's where me and my sister, Tay Stokes, we talk about different sports topics. And we were actually in the middle of our podcast episode, and I was looking on Threads, and I saw that the Chicago Sky actually traded to get the number 11 overall draft pick in the WNBA draft. So that means they have 2 top picks within the first round. So I'm interested to see what the Chicago Sky do there. So let me see some comments right here. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you. Yadav Cash Boy 18. You help me, please. Help me with what? What do you need help with? But yeah, I really think that this season of WNBA, I think we have some new storylines that are emerging. What I will say is the league in general, I'm not a fan of how they've been marketing WNBA draft or how they've been marketing the league coming this season. I believe there's so many storylines coming from last season from the Unrivaled League. If you've watched Unrivaled basketball, there are so many storylines that they could be focusing on, so many different players that have gained new popularity and more notoriety nationwide. But I hit, and they do more harm than good. Let me see. I have no college fees. But as I was saying, the storylines just don't hit one of the storylines that really gets on my nerves is this whole rivalry, this made-up, manufactured rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That needs to stop because they're not rivals. Angel beat Caitlin Clark. Her team, LSU, beat Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the NCAA tournament a few years ago. That is over. No more. That's done. Okay. I'd be more interested to see if they could build up maybe a rivalry between Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark because they play the guard position. They don't play similarly. Paige has a different style than Caitlin does, but I would rather see guard versus guard. Angel and Caitlin don't even play the same position, so why would you have them being rivals? They're not going to be seeing each other when they're facing up. So that's that. Other things I would like the WNBA to focus on, let's focus on the New York Liberty. They won the championship last season, and a lot of their players are not coming back this year. They've added Natasha Cloud onto the team now, so I would like to see how she incorporates herself into that group. She's there with with Isabel. Isabel came from the Chicago Sky, and now Isabel Harrison, she came from the Chicago Sky, and now she's on the New York Liberty. So let's see how these two pieces are ingrained into that system. Let's see how the Phoenix Mercury are going to look. You got Alyssa Thomas, came over there from the Connecticut Sun. You got Alyssa Thomas there now, playing alongside Kalia Copper, playing alongside Satu Sabali. I believe Kaylani Brown from the Dallas Wings is now over there. So that's a brand new looking Phoenix squad. The Valkyries, the Golden State Valkyries, they're the newest addition to the WNBA. Can we hear more about them, their players? Kate Martin's over there. We also have, I'm trying to remember these names on top of my hair. Tiffany Hayes. Tiffany Hayes is over there. Tiffany Hayes used to play with the Las Vegas Aces. So there's so many different things you could talk about. The Chicago Sky, how Angel has developed over this offseason. Camilla playing in China, how she's developed. There's so many other storylines that you can focus on instead of rehashing this whole manufactured Magic versus Bird narrative with Angel and Caitlin Clark. Let's do away with that. There's more things to focus on. Another thing, and I want you to listen to my podcast with my sister Tay. I'm gonna put it out either tonight or tomorrow. It's likely I'm probably put it out tomorrow, and I want you all to just see what we're talking about on there because we do focus a lot on women's college basketball. We focus on a lot of the storylines that have happened, the transfer portal, all of that. And one app that I've been on a lot lately is Threads. So Threads is connected to Instagram, and Threads, I believe I've ingrained myself in a different community that is filled with people who talk about women's college basketball and the WNBA, which is cool. I also see different stories on there. I've gotten off of Twitter because Twitter to me became way too toxic. So I like being on Threads. I like being on Blue Sky. That's where I get a lot of my news from. Another bit of news I saw recently was that Shaquille O'Neal, NBA legend, NBA great Shaquille O'Neal, was at a UFC fighting match. And I believe that he shook hands with and hugged the current US president of the United States. People had an issue with that. My take is that we cannot expect much from these celebrities or these people with a big platform. Why? They have a lot of money. A lot of times they get into those high spaces, they become out of touch with reality, out of touch with the struggles of people who are not celebrities, who are on, I guess, for lack of better words, the ground level. We cannot put our faith into these people because if we do so, it's going to let us down every time. I don't know whether or not Shaq supports this current presidential administration, the current U.S. president. However, there are signs that say that he might. I know that Shaq is a cop, right? I know that Shaq cares about his money. He's always big into business. He's always on his different commercials. And he's all about making the most money possible. If you look at this current administration in the United States, they're about giving tax cuts to the rich, the 1%, those that make so much more than everybody else. So if you are a celebrity and you're in that 1%, a multimillionaire such as Shaq, maybe you'd be more inclined to support a group that is going to give you a break. I know recently 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, he was in some hot water because I believe in Louisiana, they had some law that they were trying to get passed. He was trying to convince people to vote for that law. And it's like, yeah, 50 Cent is a multimillionaire. And I think he had some investments in Louisiana. That's why he wanted people to support this law, because it was going to help him out. But I think it was going to hurt the people in Louisiana in the long run. And they voted, but he was in favor of it because he wanted to, I guess, help his business interests. And if you saw back when this current US president had won the election, 50 Cent had posted on his Instagram, congratulations to him. So he's been showing you that he seemingly supports this current administration. We cannot put our faith in these celebrities. We do not know them. We do not know how they think. We don't know what circles they run in. We can maybe have somewhat of a guess, but we truly will not know them. Speaking of not knowing, I know there was a news article that came out recently. Well, this was revealed by the singer Carrie Hilson. So Carrie Hilson is a singer. I guess she's turned actress now. I think she's releasing new music. But back in the day, she had put out a song. It was a remix to a song. And people had guessed that in this song, she was dissing Beyonce. She was making some negative statements towards Beyonce. And I believe after that, I think her career took a hit. It just wasn't good for her overall singing career. She recently came out in a Breakfast Club interview saying that she was kind of coerced or forced to make these jabs at Beyonce in this song. And it's unfortunate that it's coming out now after her singing career has taken a hit, but we didn't know. And just kind of goes to show how cutthroat the music industry could be. I think that another person named Esther Dean had written the lyrics for Carrie Hilson to sing on this song that was dissing Beyonce. So she does it, and her career takes a hit, and Esther Dean could kind of be in the background. Esther Dean has since Carrie Hilson made this statement, made the public aware of it, Esther Dean has put out a public apology saying where her mind state was back then. But it's like the damage is already done, man. It's kind of too late for apologies. I don't know how you reconcile something like that, but I'm glad to see Carrie Hilson is back on her feet. She's a decent singer. I've never really listened to her like that, but the songs I have heard from her, pretty decent. So sticking in the world of entertainment, I know there's this movie coming out called Sinners, and it's starring Michael B. Jordan. I think Ryan Coogler is a director on there, or is the director on that movie. I'm interested to see it. However, I don't like horror films, so I'm going to be just in the theater like this the whole time, covering my ears, putting my face away from the screen. The thing is with horror for me, I can deal with gore. I can deal with just creepiness. I just don't like suspense. That's my main Achilles heel when it comes to these horror films. If I can find a way to get over suspense, I will be good. But it's the suspense. That's why it took me forever to see, what's the guy, Jordan Peterson? No, not Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peele. Oh, I said Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peele. His movies, right? Get Out. I think, what was it? Up? It was Us, Get Out, and the other one, was it Don't Look Up? I forgot the name of that other movie. It was the last. Let me actually look it up on my computer right now. It was the last horror flick that he put out. Jordan Peele movies. It was the one, not to be a Nope. It was called Nope. There we go. It's called, so Get Out, Us, and Nope. I've seen all of those movies, but each time I was freaking out because I don't like horror films. And I guess they're kind of like thriller horror. I don't know if they might fall into the genre of horror, but it was hard, but I got through it. So maybe I can get through Sinners. I'm seeing there's a lot of good ratings about this. I see that it's getting a lot of good reviews. And I believe that every time Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler get together, it's just magic. I've been seeing promo on Threads. I've been seeing promo online in general. And it looks like it's going to be a good film. I'm interested to see the concept. I'm interested to see what it's about. It's just I'm not interested to sit and watch and be freaked out by the jump scares. That's my only thing. So, hey, time will tell. If I do see sinners, I will definitely let y'all know on something on the Chemistry Productions platform. Either I'll let y'all know via podcast or I'll make a video about it or something. But I'm not, nah, man. Sinners is not, that is not the move. Speaking of sinners, I guess that kind of falls within the realm of religion. I think today is Palm Sunday. I'm so out of the loop when it comes to this stuff. And with religion, I just wanted to quickly just mention we're living in a time, well, I can't even say it's now. This has always been a thing. But I guess it's becoming more apparent to me now. People's religion is so strong. Their belief system is so strong that they're willing to stand by and watch other people suffer in the name of their religion. What do I mean by that? We're seeing that religion is making people discriminate against people who are part of the LGBTQI plus community. Religion is making people discriminate against poor individuals. Religion is making people discriminate against non-white individuals. Religion is really a detriment to so many societies out here. And I understand how certain religions can provide discipline for people. It can help people clean up their lives. It can help people make better decisions, be part of a community that ultimately will keep them from being in trouble. But then the flip side, we see where religion causes issues such as if a woman decides she doesn't want to have a child and terminates a pregnancy, now we're saying we need to lock that woman up. Now we're saying that woman is a horrible person. My thing is this, now I can only speak to Christianity specifically because that's the religion that I was brought up in. Within your own religious text, it's literally telling you, do not judge others. It's for God to do. God is the judge. Why is it that people think they can take on the likeness of God, or that they have the powers of God to judge others? They have the powers of God to make decisions that are life and death to individuals. That's not cool. My thing is to live and let live, allow people to be free, allow people within reason, obviously. You don't want people being free and it's harming the public. But if someone decides they want to terminate the pregnancy and you think that they're not getting into the kingdom of heaven, then that's for God to decide, not you. And a lot of people that are against terminating pregnancies, it's like when these women end up having their kids, where are you to help them take care of the child? You don't know their conditions. You don't know what's going on. So I'm just saying, religion in general, y'all, if you want to be religious or be in a religion, that's cool. Just lay off discriminating against others or harming others. Seriously. Live and let live. I have my belief system, but I'm not going to impose my belief system on anybody else. I believe that's how everyone should be. Live and let live. The end. So like I said, I didn't really have much topics to talk about today. I covered WNBA, women's basketball a little bit. Now, on the podcast episode that I have coming out with my sister, the Sports Talk with AVIOT podcast. So I'm deciding I'm going to put out that podcast episode tomorrow. When that podcast episode comes out, you're going to see more of my raw emotions talking about the WNBA draft, women's college basketball, what's happening with the transfer portal. A lot of people are fleeing one team and trying to go to another team. So you'll hear all of my thoughts there in more detail. I covered Shaq. I definitely wanted to cover that. I think I'm going to do a reel or social media video, put it on TikTok, Facebook Reels, what have you, and kind of cover that in more detail. I'm probably going to regurgitate a lot of the same points that I've said here, where it being they're celebrities. What do you expect from them? Yeah, and then what else? I talked about some movies coming up, music, and religion. That's pretty much it, y'all. I know there's a lot that's going on in terms of politics, and I think I'm going to save that more for, unless to be honest, I remember last time me and Jay Randall, my co-host, when we were on here and we started getting into politics, everyone was arguing with us about tariffs, and a lot of people in the comment section were uninformed about that. So I think in the future, what we might do, we might just leave politics to the actual podcast and do this Sunday Brew to talk about more conversational pieces like what I talked about today. A lot of people weren't able to watch this. Y'all will definitely see the playback. Leave some comments about horror flicks. Are you going to go to see the movie Sinners? All that jazz. Okay? So I guess I'll end with saying what's brewing for me this week. What's brewing for me this week is trying to get more on a consistent posting schedule. I feel that this past week, my posting definitely was a bit off. I was trying to post videos every day. I remember one week I was very successful at doing it, posting videos every single day. And I felt like it was really good in terms of the engagement, in terms of the content that was coming out. I thought it was really good. But sometimes I get into these lulls and I can't keep on ebbing and flowing, getting into those lulls and going to those highs. I have to build the consistency because that's what people like. People like consistency. I want to know that I can bank on you releasing a video every day or you releasing a video on these days, right? When you break that, I believe that breaks a connection. Unless you really have a really strong following of people who are willing to support you, I think that being inconsistent is hard to really build that community. And that's the whole purpose of this, to build community. Unfortunately, the chat tonight wasn't really engaging. We had some people that commented, but I don't know if they're still here or not. With that being said, I hope to see y'all next Sunday. Y'all see me with Jay Random next Sunday, hopefully. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.